Is it going to find a stream now? It's really not working that well, is it? I think I screwed it when I tried to connect a second channel. Okay, whatever. I'll just use my classic chat windows at the top. Okay, yada yada yada. Okay. A scene graph to show the loaded active routes. So at the moment in MIDIPUNK, I've got a test route set up in config here. I've just got my Oxygen Pro Mini here, the keys here, hooked up to this little JT4000 micro synth. Alright, so this is broadcasting on MIDI channel 4. And this is listening on MIDI channel 1. So MIDIPUNK is having to remap the MIDI channel between the two, basically. So we're going the ID2 input, Oxygen Pro Mini in, which is actually listening on all channels. So it will maintain whatever channel the Pro Mini's throwing out. And then we've got the output USB to the JT4000, and the output route, what we're doing is remapping. We're outputting to port ID 1 and remapping to channel 1, and it works. I tried this yesterday. So basically, if we can display this in the GUI, I actually really like that name, GUI. I'm growing fond of that. So buttons to toggle the active routes on and off, a ports button to navigate. So we want two pages. Basically, we want a page to show the routes and a page to show the ports. Ports and routes, two different things. Actually, I'm going to rethink this. What we're going to do is we're going to have the active. I'm going to change this around. We're going to have a scene graph to show the active ports. That is the MIDI devices. And then a button to delve into the routes associated with that port. So for example, click on the I'll add this file to the context because it needs to know what we're doing. Click on the JT $4,000 out port, and it will show the output route. And it will show the it will show the output route that maps, and it will show the oh my gosh, it will show the port ID to support ID 1 route. I'm going to let it kind of come up with, I'm going to let it go with that. I'm going to let it, and a back button to navigate back to the ports scene screen from the route viewer. So I have attached the current MIDIPUNK config file that you should use to build the example implementation, to build this initial, I won't say example because then it treats it more like, yeah, I don't know, we'll say initial implementation. Let's go for it and see what it comes up with. Go for gold. And I almost just want to play with this. I want to actually get a cable so I can plug the JT4000 into my mixer. So I'm going to do that while AI is working on this. Right, so I've got a 6mm, whatever the heck it is, 6.5mm to RCA adapter, and now I need a 3.5mm to RCA plug, which I know I've got a bunch of those. I think they're in a different room. They're in the garage, so I'm going to have to get that. All right, we back. Right. So now we're going to plug this in. I should probably mute. I don't actually know what it's coming through on. So we'll link up these. So it's coming through. It's not coming through anywhere, which is good. So there we go. Instrument 2 is coming through. Cool. Okay, so plug that in there. Terrible. Terrible. Okay. Awful. Okay. Great noise. Do we have a better sound that we can go for? We do. We have a sound, which is nice. All right, now what we should be able to do is we should be able to start up MIDIPUNK. I don't know if I should do this while it's making changes. Oh, I might have to, okay, might have to wait. I have to hold me horses, they say. Have a look through what it's done here. I'm mapping MIDIPUNK's current config and startup path first, then I'll write a minimal GUI client into the real app. I need the module and port APIs. I've got the integration seam. MIDIPUNK can stay the source of truth and drive GUI over the existing client helper. Beautiful, that's exactly what it should do. So what we're doing here is we're actually bringing in the GUI package. This is so cool. We're bringing the GUI package into MIDIPUNK, which is neat. I'm adding a small MIDIPUNK side GUI UI package now, plus the minimal config and startup wiring to show ports, drill into routes, and navigate back. I'm landing the MIDIPUNK side GUI package and main wiring now. A small reconnecting controller and the 2 real scenes for ports and routes. Oh my god. I'm so excited. 483 lines. See, this is the stuff that I know I could code given enough time, but this would take me weeks. Weeks of coding. And I just wouldn't do it. I just don't have the time. This is where I love AI. This is where AI shines, because I'm going to go through every single one of these files and I'm going to make sure I understand it, and I'm going to correct it if I don't think something's right. But the grunt work that it's taken off me is just, oh man, it's enabled me to do this. Like, yeah, this is great. This is good. Okay. The MIDI side GUI package is in. I'm formatting, resolving the new local module dependency, and compiling MIDIPUNK now to catch API or module issues before I touch anything else. Now I can tell it's going to run into a problem already because we've got this problem in controller here. No required module provides a package. So, yeah, we're going to have to, I mean, it might, we'll see. Let's go. It might just need to do the fetch and update the go.mod file. Let's go allow all commands in the session, because that's fine. I'm really interested to see what it's doing. So we've got config.go. Config.go is in MIDIPUNK. And we've got this enabled, route enabled, yes or no. Okay, so we've given it this ability to enable and disable routes, which I guess makes sense, doesn't it? And if routes enabled, yep. Adding in the loader, get the is enabled boolean from the route. So return route enabled equals nil, which is true. So if it's nil, if it's not set, then the route is enabled, so it enabled by default. Or return the value. So let's have a look through some small files first. We've got main.go and GUI. It's screwed this up a little bit, so we'll come back to that later. GUI punk, so that's actually not supposed to be, yeah, see, that's realigning both repos, so it should adjust this soon. We should see this change in front of our eyes, hopefully. Maybe not. I need to update the Copilot documentation then. Maybe it's smart enough to do that by itself. Right, so we're giving MIDIPUNK, we're using context as well, which is nice. So we've got this background context. We're bringing in GUI UI. So all we're doing is adding a context. I assume that we're using it somewhere, so keep the main thread running. Send out a new Go routine. So we're getting rid of that now. We're sending out a new Go routine of the GUI UI, which is a new controller which grabs the MIDIPUNK config and we run it using the current background context. Right, so basically that context is going to look after shutting down all the different threads and processes going on in this file when things finish. So stop is we're looking for the OS stop signal, a signal from the operating system, notify, relay incoming signals to C. If no signals are provided, all incoming signals. So what we're doing here is we're looking for an interrupt signal, or we're looking for sigterm. And basically then we are going to notify stop of this termination, right? And so we're gonna, this is blocking, a blocking listener on the stop channel. So it's going to stop here. It's going to pause on this. It's going to wait indefinitely for a signal, either interrupt or sigterm, to come through that channel. And when that happens, that's fulfilled. And we're going to go down to MIDIPUNK shutting down. And then we're going to go cancel. And cancel is the function that we got from this context up here. And that is going to then, when this context cancels, that's going to shut down everything else that relies on that context as well. So we've passed the context into the controller here. I don't think we've passed it anywhere else, but it's basically going to tell GUI UI to shut down as well, which is nice. So it handles all that beautifully. That's great. That's great. Go.mod, it has corrected that. I don't know exactly why it's doing this yet, but it seems to be working. So controller.go, where's this? In GUI UI. So we've got scenes and we've got controller. So what does the controller do? Default socket path, reconnect delay, action back ports. Okay, so we're defining. This is quite hard coded. I guess we'll find out. Action view prefix. Okay, we'll figure out what it's doing here in a second. Controller drives GUI from MIDIPUNK's current config state. So the controller takes a socket path. It takes the GUI IPC client, which is the inter-process communication client, from the GUI package itself, how we can actually talk to GUI. And it takes a MIDIPUNK config, which is this, which defines all our ports and our routes that we've currently got set up. And then also the selected port ID. Okay, so I mean, this is my fault that I've defined, I told it to build it a certain way, and I haven't fully actually fleshed out the UI yet. So it's kind of hard coding in the way it works at the moment. And I don't know, I feel like I need to abstract the navigation outside of the code. I feel like the navigation, I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about this a bit more, but for now, just for the first version, this is fine. This is fine. I need a meme screen that I can tap on every time I say this is fine, and bring up that dog sitting in the room on fire. New controller creates a GUI UI controller for the supplied MIDI config, right? So socket path, get env MIDIPUNK GUI socket. Otherwise we use the default socket path, which is temp GUI.sock. And then we're going to return the controller. Easy. Okay, now run. This is different as well, because we know we give it that context, and we give it the context of MIDIPUNK. MIDIPUNK's execution context. If the context gets an error, so we run an infinite loop. Context has error, then we're going to close the client. Close client is further down in this file, so we'll see what that does soon. If controller.client equals nil. If we don't have a client established yet, then we're going to connect and submit the current scene to the GUI UI controller. Okay, fair enough. GUI UI connection failed. If we have an error, wait for retry. We've got that reconnect delay, which was like 2 seconds. And then if that fails, we're just going to close the client. Event error. Next event blocks until the next event arrives from GUI. So this is the listener for incoming events from GUI. So for example, touch events, action events, things like that coming from the GUI package. If error is not equal to nil, that means something went wrong. And we reconnect and submit. Otherwise, we handle the event, which is another method further down in this file as well. So we've got 2 events to look for. We've got close client and handle event. Connect and submit current scene. This makes sense. We're going to dial up the socket. We're gonna connect. We're going to get the current scene, which is another method in this. We're going to submit it to the client because that's one of our API calls in the GUI package. And then we're going to request a status, which is going to give us a snapshot of the currently loaded scene and all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to set the client on this controller to that hopefully now configured client. Say that we're connected and return nothing. Right, now if an event comes through from GUI IPC event, which is going to be a type and a payload, JSON payload. If it's an event component activate, do you want to open the external website? No, I don't. What's this? Event component activate. Component activate. I can't actually remember what that does, but maybe we're going to decode the event payload, which is an address into the... Okay, so we're setting up a variable here called interaction. We're going to decode the event payload into that variable, into the address, ampersand, the location of that variable. If it succeeds, we're going to handle the action. Protocol error, something's gone wrong, we're just going to log it out. Event diagnostics, we're just going to log it out. And if it's a scene loaded, we get it's an ACK payload. So we're going to decode that into an ACK payload. Cool. Okay, that makes sense. Handle action. Right, this is the fun stuff. If the action is nothing, return. If the action is action back ports, which is like a back navigation to the ports screen, which is like our home screen that I've asked it to create, we're going to set the selected port ID to nothing. If the string has prefix, whether the string S begins with prefix action view prefix, which was that view port colon. Okay, cool. Selected port ID, we're going to trim off the prefix, and then what are we going to do? Okay, so we're just setting the selected port ID. So I wonder if that triggers. This feels weird, like the navigation, this doesn't feel that reactive. This feels like setting the selected port ID shouldn't be the thing that navigates us to the port screen. That doesn't feel right. That feels... not hard-coded isn't the word. That just doesn't feel like a good pattern. But anyway, this is just a test, so that's fine. We're going to get the current scene. We're going to replace the scene. So the current scene, now this is interesting. This must look into that selected port ID. And if that is filled, then the current scene is going to be the port scene. So I guess we'll see that soon. And then, so we're going to build the scene, try to build it. We're going to replace the current scene on the GUI client with that new scene. And then we're going to request status. A request status we know returns an ACK. So that's going to be like, yes, it worked. Current scene. If C selected port ID equals nil. Yeah, I don't like this at all, but that's going to come later. So I'm just going to write a note here. I'm going to write a to-do. Currently, no, this is in the wrong place. Let's put it here. Current scene to-do. The current scene is determined by whether there's a selected port ID or not. This is not the desired pattern to, but we're just testing for now. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Just a to-do, so I know that this is crap. Build the, so we're going to build the port scene. I mean, now I say that, maybe it's actually not that bad. I mean, the controller has to know. I mean, this is a standard view controller, right? Like if you had a view controller in any other program, that's kind of like the view controller is the view orchestrator. So it kind of has to know what it's building. So this is the view controller. Like this is the main view controller. It just feels weird that it's all kind of in one file at the moment. Maybe we can abstract this out a little bit later. Anyway, so we're going to build the port scene or build the route scene. Close client. We saw that earlier up. That was one of the things that we were going to look at. We've got the controller. And we're going to call close on the client. Closes the underlying socket connection. Wait for retry is just going to start a little timer. Defer timer stop to the end of this method execution. And then we're going to enter a select statement, which is going to wait for either context done, which is if something goes wrong, basically. So it's kind of a misnomer. Done is not done. Done is actually, it's not, it's, well, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm out. See you later. Return false. And return true if the timer.c, what the heck is that? The current time will be sent on C. A single event when the time, okay, so that's just the timer expiry. Then we're going to return true. Oh, okay, so wait for retry. This doesn't actually do the retry. This is just a signal. Like, this is just wait for the timer unless we cancel the context first. Unless something else cancels it. Unless we shut down MIDIPUNK. Fair enough. If it returns true, it's like, okay, go ahead with the retry. So that's here. If not wait for retry, close client. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Scene error F. So that's just formatting if we receive a scene error. Okay, cool. That's our basic little view controller there. Scenes.go. So this is huge. I don't know if I need to delve into this too much, but basically the port scene, I'm just going to see what it's done. I'm just going to trust. These are the actual views that it's building out. We've got the port scene, we've got the route scene. And then we've got all the different nodes, subheadings, route users port, route summary, just all the UI help functions that we're going to need. Right, now the client.go, this is in the GUI package here. What have we changed? Well, apparently, I don't know what's saying we've rewritten the whole thing. I don't believe we have. I don't know why it's saying it's all new. Maybe I didn't accept it last time. Right, engine.go. Status snapshot describes the current runtime scene state. Load scene. Installs a host-owned scene document and rebuilds renderable components. And that goes through all this validation and all sorts of stuff. So, doc copy. What do we do with the doc copy? Oh, okay. So we build it. We got the components. Compiles a host own into renderable components, right? So basically we get a list of components back, or an error. So we dot copy, we set the scene document to the copy of the scene document, and then we set the components on the engine to the components that we rendered out from build scene, and then we unlock the mutex and we trigger a redraw. We know this, we've done this before. Apply patch and build scene. Set interaction handler. Installs a callback for host facing touch component events. Okay, so what this is doing, we call set interaction handler and we give it a function which takes an interaction. Right, and so basically GUI, whenever there's a touch event or something, is going to call that function with the interaction. It's all mutex protected, which is nice. Snapshots. We know what that does. Defer unlock. So we don't get stuck. Mutex, snapshot. Grab the status snapshot. Oh, okay. We're creating a status snapshot with component count. And then if there are nothing else, then we just return it. Otherwise, we put all the other variables in there. Fair enough. I can keep that now. Handle touch. We're going to make an interaction. What's this? An interaction list. And it's going to have a size so we got a type slice. That's what it is, called a slice. I've got to get used to what Go calls them. It's not lists. The size specifies the length, and the capacity of the slice is equal to its length. The second integer argument may be provided to specify a different capacity. It must be no smaller. So, for example, make int 010 allocates an underlying array size of 10 and returns a slice of length 0 and capacity 10. Right, so this is returning a slice of interactions with 0 interactions in it, but a capacity of 2. Okay. Then we're going to process the top down. We're going to see which component interacts with the interaction. And then we're going to call the handle touch method. And and add to the interactions. Define the type, set up the interaction, call the handler with the interaction. And that's back in MIDIPUNK. So MIDIPUNK knows what to do. So this handle touch is GUI's handle touch on the component. But this handler here is MIDIPUNK's. It's the clients or the host or whatever the heck it's calling this. Okay, that makes sense. Sort of. It's a lot to take in. That's the thing with AI as well. It's as good as it is, it's so much faster than you can possibly do it. That going back through and making sure it's correct is the part that takes the longest. And it's important to do that. Can't just accept slop. I don't know what replace is here for. I'm gonna say, is there any need for the replace line in go.mod line 24? If not, remove it. I don't really want to use a premium request for that. I mean, I could just bloody try it myself, couldn't I? That's where I'm getting lazy. Okay. Right, calibrate main.go. We know this file. We're just going to keep it. That's fine. We've looked at it before. Scene demo as well. I don't think we need to look at again. We know what this is. We'll keep that. I guess what this is... No, actually we do need this, because all this is doing is saying that we have GUI available locally, so we don't actually need to go to GitHub to get this. What we can do is just go ... GUI, and we have the package available locally on our machine. Having that hard-coded in is kind of weird, I'll admit, because this isn't going to be the case for other people working on this. So I'm just going to put a to-do there. This probably shouldn't be here for public release. Alright, and that's it. I mean, we're done. So the only thing that remains is to run this. And it's freaking exciting. I'm pretty excited about this, to be honest. See if it works. Start GUI so it listens on temp GUI sock. Alright, let's do that then. Let's start GUI. Launch GUI. Right, GUI is launched. Start MIDIPUNK. Don't mind if I do. Tap it and let's see if the port screen appears, right? I'm going to go into full mobile here. Full mobile mode. Let's see what happens. Launch MIDIPUNK. Excited. Oh yeah. Oh, it freaking works. Oh, that's good. That is very cool. That is very cool. GUI status scene loaded equals true. Oh, that's... I'm so happy. So freaking happy. That's so cool. Ah. Feels good, man. Alright. So, now the thing is, I don't have any... I don't have any anything coming through here, so I'm wondering if my setup is wrong. Receive channel 1. And what do we got set up on our... We got channel 4. I mean, that should be... That should be talking. to the MIDI controller. So it's a little concerning it's not. I'm gonna check here. We've got ID 1. Maybe it's not active. We just added a new route active inactive method here. So man, this is exciting. The fact this is, oh man, this is working. This is great. Tap a port to view. So let's see if this works. Do we need to recalibrate the screen? Yeah, okay, so that's not working at the moment. We've got no touch events firing off, which is fine. We can see what's going on. With MIDIPUNK. We need to kind of get a rundown of the current state of things here. So we'll go midipunk.go, and actually we'll look into the router, I think, and see if we can intercept a message. So we've got should route message. So nothing there. It's not getting to that point. So it's something might be blocking it. Something to do with the UI might be blocking it here. It's in a Go routine, so it's in a subroutine. USB device detect. Router start. So we did start the router. Raw channel. Or message. So let's see if it's even getting this. And it doesn't look like it. It's not even getting to this point here. So I mean, I might have an issue with my USB. Yeah, I might need to. Let's have a look. Well, I mean, all of this could be wrong now as well. See, JT4000 is actually on number 5 now, and USB MIDI is on number 1. So I think my config's wrong. So that's actually 5. And that's actually 1. So that's the problem. So I think we can stop MIDIPUNK. Host disconnected. Now what I should do is I should clear the screen. When the client disconnects, I should probably clear the screen. Right, let's launch MIDIPUNK now and see what happens. So we'll see when MIDIPUNK launches, we'll see the host connected. MIDIPUNK, are we getting any raw messages? MIDI device change detected. I'm not getting any messages, and I've got this onto bug mode as well. So that's interesting. That it's suddenly not picking up any. Oh god, I'm such a dork. Okay, we've changed this as well. So the inputs is going to be 1. This is going to be 5. Goodness me. This is why I need a GUI. This is why I need a GUI to make this easier. I'm not actually showing what I'm doing here. So, port ID 1 and 5. So, we've got the Oxygen Pro Mini as number 1. And we've got JT4000 on number 5. We've got the input set to port 1, which is this. And we've got the output set to port 5. Remapping to channel 1. So if I stop MIDIPUNK again, launch MIDIPUNK again, sounds terrible. Pretty cool. It's working though. All right, what happens here? The touchscreen isn't working. So I believe I'm not sure why. We might have to recalibrate that. So let's go into GUI. Launch MIDIPUNK. So yeah, we've got this. Let's go config. .json. Device input event 1. So that might have changed. I've had that before as well. So dealing with all these changes is a bit of a pain. Basically, ls event star. No, input. Event by path. Yeah, okay, so it's changed back. So this changes quite a lot. Like this has changed back to event 0 now for some reason. It changed if... I need to do it as a device path, I think, because if the underlying event pointer changes, at least this won't. Yeah. Alright. This is the stupidest way to hold this. Anyway. Okay. I should have a little holder clip or something I can use. Anyway. I say anyway, and then I just continue without doing it. Saved me so much headache. So, in other words, we need to relaunch. Now, I'm going to look at MIDIPUNK while I do this. All right, I'm going to go to launch GUI. Damn it. I want to see both. How do I see both? I want to split these somehow, but I can't. Maximize panel. Whatever. I'll just go launch GUI and we'll stop this and see what MIDIPUNK does. Failed to connect to GUI. GUI UI connection failed. Connection failed. Connection failed. So it just keeps trying, which is good. It's actually a good thing. So now we're going to go and launch GUI somehow. And this should reconnect. Scene loaded. Awesome. Okay, let's see what happens now. Oh. It's so cool. Routes that use port 5. Let's go back. Oxygen Pro in. Oh, that's so sick. That's so sick. JT4000. Routes port 1 to 5 on channel 1. Oxygen Pro Mini. Device 1 to device 5 on channel 1. So it's showing, yeah, okay, this is freaking awesome. 2 configured ports. It's so nice. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I actually love it. I'm so stoked right now. I don't know if you can tell that this is working. This is so very cool. Oh, it's been a long road to get to this point, but I'm extraordinarily happy about that progress. Vindicated, vindicated means, you know, can you be vindicated without actually having anything against you? Like, vindicated definition. To be clear to blame, guilt, or suspicion. Okay, suspicion. Proven right after a period of doubt or criticism. Only from myself. But we got there. So, I reckon we're good. So I think what I could do then is if I go by path and list this out, I could just copy this. And we could go device path by path like that. That should work. Let's give it a go. And to give it a go, we'll launch GUI. Yeah, it does work. Great. So now it's by name, not by this random path which changes depending on what I've got plugged into the Raspberry Pi. Fantastic. So I'll commit that. Refer to touch device by path instead of raw event. Oh man, this is so sick. And what are we going to call this? We're going to call this initial integration of GUI into MIDIPUNK with port viewer and route viewer screens. That's a friggin' huge milestone, if you ask me. So good. Next natural steps. Let's do it. Let's go. We're going to need a new component, a new GUI component, the toggle switch. 2, where add route enable or disable toggles, live device hot plug updates. To integrate route toggling, create a new GUI component, the toggle switch. Now this is a good test of extensibility. This is a good test of how much stuff is hard-coded, what code is it going to touch in order to make this work. Like, is it only going to have to scope itself to one file, like a toggle button file, or is it going to have to touch wider code that it shouldn't be touching to implement a new component? This is going to be a really good test for that. So I'm going to watch it carefully and see what it does. I should check the current route YAML. Okay, I've got the seam. The toggle should be a real GUI component. MIDIPUNK should treat it as a host-owned state control that flips the route, enabled flag, and re-renders. I'm checking the current config details and route model. So the one thing I don't have at the moment is the ability for MIDIPUNK to update the configuration. That's actually quite a big oversight, and that's quite a big thing we're going to have to do. So I wonder if the AI is going to pick up on that and do it automatically. I'm extending the route model now, so the GUI toggle can change real router behavior, not just the screen. I'll wire the new toggle component into the route scene and update the controller actions. I thought it already did have... I thought it did that last time. I thought it created it as enabled. Made the core code changes. GUI gets a registered toggle component. MIDIPUNK routes become live enableable. And the route screen switches from passive labels to active toggle controls. Alright, I want to see what files it's doing, but I can't at the moment. Alright, here we go. Config.json. Toggle. Alright, so it's added the... Why is that outside of the components block? That's weird. I don't know about that. That's a bit strange. So we've got this protocol now. What have we added here? I guess we've... Action toggle route. Action toggle route, XY, local XY. Fair enough. We'll keep that. Set enabled updates the selected route enabled state in memory. So yeah, what we're going to have to do next is write a MIDIPUNK thing to save the current in-memory state to the config file. Sort of persist it. Route dot is enabled. GUI new controller routes. So we're actually passing the routes to it initially. I don't... Do we need to do that? And reread the reread as changes are made. String converts. We're bringing in MIDI router into GUI UI. Okay, so we have to do that because... Yeah, alright. This is the controller, so that's fine. It's the link between the view and the data model, so that's okay. It does make sense. Toggle routes. Passant string index text. enabled state on the controller. Okay, fair enough. Routes. Again, this is the controller and go. Well, I just had a look at this, didn't I? Alright. So this is in scenes.go. What have we changed here? We don't need the index anymore, so it's just changed it to a placeholder variable. We ID route index type, node type, container bounds, layout, children. We have updated, which now has some kind of route summary and the toggle for the route. And we now have this indexed routes for port. So we can have multiple routes per port. Toggle backgrounds. Ball pointer. What the hell is that? Checked. Oh, okay. So, that's quite nifty. But can we not just get the pointer? Is that really necessary? Like, can't we just dereference, or can't we just reference the value anyway? It's quite bizarre. I'm not sure. I'm going to come back and ask about that. So we've got scenes.go. This config.json we've already seen a million times. Oh no, I was going to ask about that as well. Drawing.go. So this is going to have the new toggle lines in here. Add ellipsis, trimmed width. It's got a whole bunch of crap in here. Doesn't seem to have anything about a toggle. Beats me. Toggle.go. Here we go. ID draw track equals inset rect. So it's just a simple rectangle. Draw box. Knob size. Move to if pressed. Okay. See what this looks like afterwards. It's got a handle touch method, which fires off the events, the touch result, and it's got our bounding box. Okay, that makes sense to me. Validation. So we must have added have we added anything about the toggle? No. Okay. So scenes.go, route.go, enabled. Okay. Handle messages. So we just ignore messages if the route is not enabled. Just seems reasonable. Doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Config.go. Was I okay with this? Touch settings. I think so. Node type toggle. I think we're all good with that. Okay, so I need to ask it about this. This is strange. Maybe it says it in its output. So on the GUI side, I registered a toggle component. The scene model now supports a check field. Also updated the published reference docs. On the CSCs, no, it doesn't explain why it put it there. So on the MIDIPUNK side, route enabled state is now live, runtime state, not just text. MIDIPUNK now stores enabled with getters and setters. The GUI controller in MIDIPUNK now understands toggle route index, the route detail, yada yada yada. Yes, persist route toggle changes, that's what we want. Add a ports, screen, badge, or color queue. So we're going to say in config.json, why is the toggle defined outside of the components object, unlike the button and label, etc.? Shouldn't it be with those two? So I thought maybe then the scene graph reference might need updating because of that, but I'm just gonna, I don't think I saw any particular issues with that, so I'm gonna say okay, and then we're gonna go scenes.go. And the question I had with this is, why do we need this ball pointer method? Why do we need the ball pointer method in scenes.go? Is it not enough to just use maybe not, maybe you can't call, maybe the reason it's doing this, and maybe it's illegal, maybe it's not a possibility to be able to go like this. Cannot take the address. So, but what I want is the value of this. So what if you wrap that in? No. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I think I understand why it's done that then. A question and alteration if required. So that's the only thing I'm not happy with then. Okay, this makes sense now why this needs to happen, because you can't call the address on that directly. Like, it's not calling for the address on the result of the function. So we have to process the function. We have to send the result of the function to another function, which will then get the address of the value, which is the output of the function. Oh my goodness, that's interesting. I still wonder if there's a cleaner way to do it, but All right, let's send that and see what it says. Oh, far out, I'm an idiot. It was inside there. Oh, man. Okay, I feel like a dumb. I just relied on the indenting to be correct. Thank you for selecting those lines and pushing tab, AI. I just wasted a bunch of power and cooling water on. It's so funny. Oh, my goodness. All right, we'll keep those as well. All right, let's see what this looks like. Let's run this. This is going to be exciting too. See what this does. All right. All right. Launch GUI. Launch MIDIPUNK. There we go. So now let's go into the JT4000 routes. I don't think it's doing anything. Something's crashed. Oh no, there we go. What is going on here? Enable. Oh, I tapped it. The hitbox isn't great. There we go. We can disable and enable. So, disabled. Enable. Hey, it works. Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, I need to be able to easily send it screenshots. So what I wonder is if I go mobile like this and we give it a screenshot, it works, but the toggle switch is very narrow. It should expand to fill the remaining space up to a maximum, like an aspect ratio of maybe an aspect ratio of maybe 2.5 to 1 or something. Like a max. Perhaps if there is very limited space, the inner indicator box should shrink to a minimum of, say, 20 pixels. See in the screenshot. Let it go on that. fun. Okay, what are we doing? Well, I've estimated the narrowness two causes. The toggle drawing uses the full tiny assigned box as is, and the route card currently starves the toggle by reserving too much fixed width for the label. I'm adjusting both. Compacting conversation. Alright. Bing, bing. Don't know what the hell I'm doing there. Okay, what's it up to? Come on. Toggle track rect. So we got content inset rect. Track width. Content.dx. Max width. So it has gone with my suggestion of 2.5 aspect ratio. Track width is less than 24, so it's okay. So it's gone. No, I don't think your 20 pixel suggestion is good. I'm going to use 24, which is 1/10 of the screen. No, 1/10 of the height of the screen. Minimum. Oh no, it has gone 20. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I'll keep it. Bounce. Alright, well, let's see if GUI has improved. It has not. Come on, AI. Get your shit together. Oh, hang on. That's actually MIDIPUNK I need to relaunch. Which is kind of weird because GUIPunk should enforce. Yeah, okay. Well, that works. That's quite cool. what is strange is that I'm pretty sure I've got 2 routes in MIDIPUNK. I do. Oh no, just 1 route. Okay, my bad. Oh god, the amount of times I've stitched myself up with that. Alright, well let's go back to this and we'll go... Next is persistence. No, let's add the port screen badge. My preference is to show 2 badges with a count of inactive and active routes. While we're there, look at redesigning the port buttons. Currently they're centered, the screenshot. I'll send it another screenshot. I think the label and type, e.g. USB output, could be left aligned, and the status, the route status badges, right aligned. So let's go mobile view again. I'll take another screen grab. Paste that in there. And we're going to go port screen. Port scene? Port. What? Scenes. Build route scene. See, we need to, this is a to-do. We need to separate these out. Separate scenes out into their own files. All right. Send that off. Alright, I better get off in a minute. I'll be back later. So I'm just going to make a note for myself here. Use the by path value instead of the raw event X devices as they change. Very good. All right, I think I've got enough time to watch this do its thing. GUI containers will become optional tap targets. MIDIPUNK will switch the ports list from centered buttons to composed rows with left-aligned text and right side inactive. The row design is in place, formatting and rebuilding. Build is still running through both repos. I'm waiting for the result. The edited files are error-free. Okay, let's have a look at this. Container component. Pressed. Handle touch. Make port node. So it's abstracted that out into a new function, which is a bit tidier. Port meta. And this is just the scenes.go file. Okay. Route counts. Port ID. Takes the config and a port ID, and then it looks at the counts active and inactive. Make a port node. Yeah, we've looked at that already, so I'm pretty happy with that. All right, let's have a look and see what this looks like. Oh, I should really save this soon. Okay. There we go. It's telling me I got one route associated, so let's toggle one off. Bloody works. Wouldn't you know that? Wouldn't you know? Bloody genius. So good. Now it should. Aha. I have stepped into a problem. What we need to do is when the route is toggled off, we need to, so where does it actually do that? Where does it actually toggle? Toggle the route on and off. So MIDIPUNK must be listening for that event somewhere. Is it controller? Toggle route. Action toggle. Toggle route. Index. Routes set enabled. So in this set enabled method, what we need to do is go to do. We should send an all notes off message to all outputs when disabling a route to prevent stuck notes. Yeah, I'll go with that. Perhaps optionally. Cool, that's excellent. Fantastic. All right, let's do a commit there because I've gone too far without a commit. Stop the debugging. All right, so with this one, we've got the toggle switch. This is all to do with the toggle. Add a new toggle switch component. And update docs. Implement route toggle switch and active inactive routes count on the port display. It's bloody good. That's a good place to finish it. So what next is we're gonna do state persistence into the config file. Next step is MIDIPUNK config persistence. Whenever the config is updated by in memory. Need to be careful not to double handle when a config change is made via the MIDIPUNK API. Which I believe already handles persistence. Write config. So yeah, that's an interesting one. So we've got this thing where we update the config. But do we like config put handler? We've got no kind of notifications back to MIDIPUNK that file has updated. So we could use a file listener, we could use a file system listener. Maybe we already do. So we load config. But no, we don't. So we need to get back to the API after this. The API is barely realized, so I mean this is a big to do. Anyway, I need to go right now. Actually, I just saw the time. Jeepers creepers. So great, successful session there. Awesome.